This is the Biology Unit 6 revision video looking at biofuels. Now, the burning of fossil fuels harms the environment. It produces waste gases such as carbon dioxide, and that leads to global warming. Now, one of the possible alternatives of fossil fuels are using biological materials to be burnt, and these are called biofuels. Now, they're better for the environment because the carbon dioxide that they produce when they burn is balanced out by the carbon dioxide that they use in photosynthesis while they're growing. So they'll give out the same amount when they are burnt as that they've taken in during their lifetime. So what are biofuels? As with fossil fuels, the energy in biofuels originates from the sunlight used in photosynthesis. Because photosynthesis produces the biomass in plants, this biomass then can be used directly or indirectly as biofuel. So, for example, wood can be burnt directly to release the energy. And also, microbes can break down this organic material and produce gas, which can then be burnt to generate energy. So here are the main types of biofuel that you need to know about. We've got wood, biogas and alcohol. Now, as with any type of fuel, there are advantages and disadvantages of using biofuels. First of all, we'll look at the advantages. So by using biofuels, we're reducing the fossil fuel consumption, and this also increases to no overall increase in the level of greenhouse gases, which I mentioned earlier. This is because as the plants grow, they take in the carbon dioxide, the same amount that is released when they are burnt for fuel. And burning biogas and alcohol is a lot cleaner. It produces no smoke, no particulates. However, the downsides, the disadvantages of using them is that because we need large areas of land to grow the plants for biofuels, it can cause habitat loss. This habitat loss can lead to the extinction of species on a greater scale, and the data shows that some biofuels will transfer less energy than other fuel types. So, although they are useful in some ways, we get a lot less energy from them. If we look at these 2 points as well, again, this no overall increase in the level of greenhouse gases. Although this is true at the level of burning the biofuel, the plant, when it comes to clearing areas of land, usually that involves getting rid of plants that will be taking out carbon dioxide from the air. So by removing those plants, you're removing the ability of them to take out carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So in theory, you are taking, you're adding more CO2 in effect to the atmosphere. Now the next biofuel that we're going to look at is biogas. This is made from the fermentation of carbohydrates in plant material in sewage by the action of bacteria. Now this can happen naturally in marshes, septic tanks and even inside the guts of animals. It's produced at some landfill sites where rubbish is built on top of each other and the gas gets trapped, where it's being broken down by microbes. Now sometimes if this happens, the gas can become explosive and cause a lot of damage. Biogas is a mixture of gases that will burn in oxygen. Now this makes them really good as a fuel. The biogas is mostly methane at around 50 to 75%. Then carbon dioxide makes up the second largest proportion of biogas at around a quarter to half. And then varying amounts of other gases such as hydrogen, nitrogen and hydrogen sulfide make up less than 10% of biogas. So biogas generators can operate on different scales. On the next slide we'll look at small scale biogas production, and here we'll look at large scale biogas production. Now it's generally made commercially in large anaerobic tanks, which means that there's no oxygen present. Any plant waste or animal manure is constantly added and the gas that's produced is constantly removed. Gas production happens best at around 32 to 35 degrees because the bacteria that are fermenting grow best at this temperature. It's optimum for them. and the remaining solid waste that needs to be removed from the tanks can be used as fertiliser in some cases to be added to crops. Now on this scale there's a number of uses for the biogas. It can be used as a fuel for vehicles, it can be used to generate electricity for homes and businesses, and it can be used for heating systems to provide heat energy. So in remote areas, countries such as Nepal and India, biogas can be made for families and used for cooking, heating the homes and lighting. Now, this usually happens in a large tank that is kept underground, and the reason that it's kept underground is it keeps the temperature constant for the bacteria to work optimally. The family will place organic material in this narrow opening, such as dead plants and animal waste from around their homes in the farms, and the bacteria will digest this waste and produce the gas, which can be vented via this hole here. Although biogas is a huge advantage in terms of environmental issues and being able to have it on a small and large scale, it also has its problems, such as the range of waste that is used from plant material to animal material and faeces means that a large range of bacteria is needed to digest these different molecules. And although biogas is cleaner than petrol or diesel, it releases a lot less energy compared to natural gas. So biogas releases about 4.5 to 8.5 kilowatt hours per metres cubed of energy, and in natural gas releases 9.8. Now this is because biogas contains less methane than natural gas. And as mentioned before, if biogas mixes with air and is introduced to more oxygen, and the methane content falls below 20% in 5 to 20% region, that becomes explosive and can be really quite dangerous. Now, as well as biogas, we can produce bioethanol. This is produced from brewing by yeast, as we've looked at previously. On a large scale, that can be used as fuel. By mixing it with petrol, we can make gasohol, which can be used to fuel cars. Now, in countries such as Brazil that produce large amounts of plant waste, where they've got a lot of sugarcane produced, then this is really useful. Because Brazil has no oil reserves but plenty of sugarcane, they can make alcohol, mix it with small amounts of petrol, and this is a really economic fuel in countries such as Brazil. And this concludes the video about biofuels.